Jerry, one of the things that I learned when I was in the military was this basic tenet of leadership: lead yourself, lead others, lead always. But nothing happens unless you learn self leadership. I think it's the same thing about kindness. You can't be kind to someone else unless you're kind to yourself. You can't help someone else unless you are trying to make yourself the best person that you can be. I know you also believe in the crucial nature of self leadership in both sports and life. What's a strategy for someone who is doubting their ability right now? Someone who maybe just heard what you said and is wondering, how do I pivot out of this place that I'm at? How do I start leading myself to where I want to go? And I want to bridge this with a phrase I heard you say in another podcast where I love this. You said, you need to make the business of your life business of your life. And it sounds like such a simple thing to say, but to me, it's really tied into self leadership as well. And I was hoping you might be able to explain it through that lens.
For me, it's always about asking the question, what do you want the world to be? I think the greatest leadership is service. How can I serve people? How can I serve others? The human ego thinks about the I, what serves me, what makes me look good. The problem with the world today is too many people are looking at me, and we separate. So we have this idea in the world that you're either pro something or anti something. And we're making people more labels. We have more labels now than ever. We have more sides, and people have to take sides. The problem with that is we're just separating people. We're dividing people. We're segregating people. What I've always tried to ask is what unites people? And if you said to most people, would you like to wake up in the morning and feel at peace? As you go about your day, would you like to feel love and joy? And as you fall to sleep at nighttime, would you love to know that you are enough and that you are loved and that you are making a difference? And I think the answer is yes, regardless of religion or gender or nationality. I've always been more interested in what unites humanity. And what unites humanity more than anything else is love. Ultimately, we're all looking to feel loved and be lovable. And in fact, I believe the biggest trauma a human being can experience is the feeling of being unloved and unlovable. And that brings anger. There's only two human emotions, fear or love. So love manifests as patience, kindness, and forgiveness. Fear can manifest as impatience, anger, frustration, judgment, comparison. But they're just labels for the same thing. That's all fear. If we can find a common ground, and if we can realize that human beings are more connected than disconnected, and behind all the labels and the different skin colors and the different religions is actually a soul, and the soul is craving one thing, to feel connected and to be loved. And wouldn't that be a magnificent world? I don't think the world needs more labels. I don't think it needs more anger. I don't think it needs more push and force. I don't think it needs more sides. I think it needs more connection. It needs more forgiveness. It needs more understanding, and it needs more love. So if that's what the world needs, I believe that whatever you think the world needs, you have to be an ambassador for that. It's the same when I work with corporate or executive teams. The first thing I ask them is, what would you like your team to be? What would you like your team to be filled with? And they say joy, fun, passion, love, truth. And then I tell them, you can't expect anything to be in your team if you're not bringing it. So whatever you want in the world, if you want more joy in the world, more peace in the world, more connection, you have to be ambassador of that. So every morning, as a part of my morning routine, I ask myself, what does love look like today? If I showed up from a place of love today, what does that look like? And where am I holding anger? Where am I holding fear? And how do I release that? So we all have a choice, as we spoke about. And forgiveness for me is the gateway to freedom. Who do you need to forgive? Because if you're holding anger and you're comparing yourself and you're judging others, That's a miserable place to be. Nobody wants to be in that place. So who do you need to forgive? Maybe you need to forgive yourself, or you need to forgive others, or you need to forgive the world. And forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. Sometimes we say, I'm not going to forgive because they don't deserve forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about the other person. Forgiveness is an emotional gift of freedom to yourself, where you're saying that person, that place, that incident, that time no longer defines me. I'm giving that person, that place, that moment, no more space in my life. I am emotionally moving on and I'm becoming indifferent to it. So every morning when we wake up, ask yourself, what does love look like? And in order to get to that place of love, what do I need to let go of? Who do I need to forgive? And am I willing to forgive? The more we have people turning up from a place of forgiveness and love and understanding, the more we have human beings looking to find the common ground, the less we want to segregate and label, and the more we realize that actually we're all connected. In some magnificent act of quantum entanglement, we're all connected. And when we see each other in each other's eyes, when we see the humanity in each other, and we realize that one of the greatest ways for me to be happy is to help others be happy. There's no separation here. So it is about showing up with love and kindness. And one of the steps to doing that is forgiveness.